Okay, we are live.
All right.
And so did you guys did the reading and stuff, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So why does the varsity team lose to the JV team?
They did not have it together. I don't know, they all were trying to be like the head honcho. And this is my take. They were all trying to be like the head honcho and be better than each other instead of being equal to each other and trying to work together. They wanted to just be the top dog, I guess.
Yeah, the JV team was stronger as a unit over the varsity team. So,
right.
Yeah, I get that they weren't stronger, as individuals, I guess, or in their own categories, but as a team, they functioned better than the varsity team.
I think that they probably got kind of cocky and felt that they were playing a more individual sport than a team sport, and they kept kind of competing with each other when they weren't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And what should Coach P have done earlier in the season to resolve this problem?
I think that the minute you see a problem, it's easier to fix then instead of waiting towards the end and it's a bigger problem. I think if you maybe counseled them along the way, things could have been worked out along the way versus the very end. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works when they do those teams, but almost had he maybe raced them against maybe a neighboring team, something that wasn't the junior varsity. That would, like you said, they're not thinking that they're automatically going to win because they're a junior varsity team. So maybe if they had some competition, perhaps with someone they felt were more equals, I don't know if that would make a difference. On how hard they tried or not. I don't know.
Well, that makes sense, not having them go against the lower team, maybe someone that was more equal to them, I guess.
Right. So I don't know if that's even a possibility in something like this, but, find another, somebody in the neighboring town or something that wanted to compete together just for training or something like that. I don't know. Could be
I think that something they could have done is had fun activities that didn't have to do with practice and didn't have to do with rowing. Like if they went out to dinner and had a fun, get together party type thing and got to know each other better and tried to become friends instead of competitors.
Yeah, that may make a difference too. And if they're looking at it more like, do them stronger as a unit, as a team, that to hang out more than just in the practice area.
Right, get to know each other like as people and their personalities, and then maybe learn how to work with them, things like that better. I think you see people how they are in other activities as well. It gets you to know them better.
Mm-hmm. I know I've been in situations like that. I mean, you're just with coworkers or whatever. I mean, if you hang out more than just at where you work, I mean, you get to know the person, and I think it can either help or hurt the work relationship. But there are some positive aspects, I guess, if you get to know each other a little bit more than just in one area like that.
For sure.
I know that's what we did with my work, was we just do fun activities to, like, instead of having meetings, we have pep rallies, and we sometimes, we do the Secret Santa and things like that, and we motivate each other. We try and find ways to motivate each other. There was a point where we were leaving nice notes for each other, like, "Oh, I saw that you did this really awesome haircut," and it was better for the environment. There wasn't, issues.
Right.
And we kind of discussed what point he should have intervened at the very beginning. What action should he take on Tuesday when the team comes back? Why do you recommend this action? I personally was thinking, he could tell them, "Hey, if you don't get your act together, I'm going to have the JV go instead of you guys. You guys need to figure out how to work together because the JV team's doing it."
Right.
And there were aspects of the story I felt like he almost should have used the JV team instead, or maybe worked harder at training them, since they worked together better as a unit to start with. So maybe that would have had a better outcome. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good point. They had the hardest part of it down. They just needed to build their strength and agility up to get to a faster pace because, you know what I mean, they had the other part down. So that might have been a good option.
Yeah, because the varsity team was, a unit that wasn't working that well. So I think maybe that would have been a good strategy to take them and just train them harder and use them as your varsity team. So.
Yeah. One thing that it said in the reading that I thought was interesting too was that another Coach Colonel or something like that had to do that at one point, and both teams ended up winning because that stress of, "Oh my gosh, the JV's taken my place," made them work together.
Right. So the threat might have just been enough,
Something that I just thought about too was, for the other quiz and reading, the Mormon message about the current bush, that would be a way to cut them down so that they can be better.
Right.
I think something that he could have done is, I don't know, make them sit down. It talked about in the reading on how, like, the JV team's emails and how they were, like, so much more positive than the varsity. Like, get them to, I don't know, build each other up instead of they were always cutting each other down. If you say the positive about people, you start looking at people a little bit differently. Maybe had them focus on that instead of just accepting whatever the emails were. The part where they were, like, sending the emails to him about the different people and what they were doing wrong. So I don't know, like if he, made them focus on positive instead of the negative, it could have been something else.
It is kind of hard to do that though. I know when I've had negative employees, we've tried approaches to make them more positive, and negative still just seeps out of them. If somebody's a negative person, they have to make the decision to be positive.
Right.
And it's impossible to make somebody make that decision.
Right.
I think that maybe having them write positive messages, because you can't force them to be positive. 100%.
No, right. I just meant make them focus, not give such negative, I guess, to have them write it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I get what you're saying there. I think that would be a good idea. Like, write one message for somebody every day this week or something.
Yeah. Or even if they sent it just to the coach, if you're writing me, if they were sending the messages to the coach, like instead of only the negative, you need to think of something positive that came out of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in, I think it was in high school, I guess. We did something like that. You guys may have done something similar, but you had to pass around a piece of paper with everyone's name on it, and everyone had to write down something positive about that person. So each person got a paper with every classmate saying something they thought positive about them. So it was for some project we did, but so.
Yeah, I remember kind of doing that in school too, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and in church when we went to camp. We did. We had like notebooks and we'd pass them around, and each person would write something. And had that notebook for a long time. I was gonna say I still have it, but I have no idea where it's at. I know I didn't throw it away. So how would we compare Army Crew with other types of teams?
I think a lot of the stuff we've discussed applies on a lot of ways. I mean, be it any other team or in your work environment, trying to unify people and get them to work stronger as a unit and to go for the goals or whatever, the business or whatever it is trying to go after. I think trying to get everyone to be closer and kind of have the same goals. So.
I used to always, like, when a teacher or something would say there's no I in team, like, roll my eyes. But now that, like, I don't know, and I'm in a real working environment and it's, different, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, because it takes everybody to accomplish what we need to accomplish. I don't know. I think it can apply everywhere. It's in every kind of team that we have to work in. We need to work together to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing is to kind of focus on yourself and not. I mean, they were focusing on themselves, but they were focusing on why they were the best and why they were the only ones working. Whereas they should be focusing on, maybe I could have been off there. Maybe it was me who was off. Maybe I need to work on being synchronized with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody read the article that was in, I think it was on the discussion prep thing. There was a link and it was like to Money CNN. Did anybody happen to read it?
Where was that at?
I don't think so.
The discussion prep, I think it's discussion prep, discussion leader only thing. I had just scrolled through it and there was a link to an article. And it was kind of interesting because it had talked about this scenario, and it was saying that Coach P had them wrestle against each other, and then because everyone was saying, well, I'm working harder than so and so, and I'm working harder than so and so, but no, I'm working harder than you. And anyway, so he had them wrestle against each other, and the whole point of it is that everybody was just as strong and just as determined as the next person. So then they, opened their eyes to seeing that they were all working just as hard. There wasn't somebody that was pulling all of the weight of everybody. They were working as a team, just not realizing that they were. Mm-hmm. So it was more, I don't know, did anybody read it?
I didn't get a chance to read it yet.
So it's really short. It's just 2 paragraphs. But anyway, so it was kind of interesting to read, and to the realization that they came to in it, that it was all in their head. I don't know. It was kind of interesting.
That was kind of something that I thought about with this situation as well. Was yes, they are all pulling all the weight because they're not synchronized.
Right.
You know, it talked about how it feels a lot worse if you're not synchronized, but if you're 100% synchronized, then it feels effortless.
Right.
And so, yeah, they were all pulling all of the weight just because they weren't doing it together.
Right, exactly.
And two, I noticed their instruction on that was if someone got out of rhythm, that the team wouldn't compensate for them. They had to stay lined up and hope that that person would get back in the groove and it would all run smoothly again.
I think in that situation, they weren't trusting the other team members that they would get back in the groove either if somebody did get off, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what lessons can we learn from them?
To try and not be the person that gets everyone else off.
Yeah, I think that, we just need to realize that, for the majority, I know there's always going to be those people that aren't, but that, most people are trying to pull their weight just as much as you are, and, you're trying to be a team, not just doing it all yourself.
Yeah.
With my work, which, I'm only there once a week now, or once every other week, but I'm a hairdresser, and that's a very individual job. You know, it's me doing the haircut, it's not my coworker doing the haircut. But we still find ways to be a team. Like, we encourage each other and we work together to keep the wait time down as much as we can. We don't try and take all the haircuts. We don't try and take none of the haircuts. You know, we have to work together even though it's such an individual job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's every job is kind of a team, even if it's individual.
Definitely.
Mm. Do we have any other thoughts on that?
I don't think so.
It was pretty straightforward. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like there's anything else that we really need to bring up with that case.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop the broadcast now.